Hello, friends. You've stumbled across a short clip from the Daily Switch 2 podcast, which, believe it or not, is a podcast that is about the Switch 2 with new episodes released daily. What will they think of next? Okay, next up was Mario Tennis Fever. It's funny because while talking about this game in my live reaction, I started to mention how the first Mario Tennis game had an RPG mode, thinking of the Game Boy Color release. And then I corrected myself to say that actually the very first Mario Tennis game was on the Virtual Boy, but basically nobody knows about that one. Obviously, at that point in the Direct, I had literally no idea that, spoilers, they were going to announce a whole freaking Virtual Boy accessory later on in the same Direct. But yeah. Mario Tennis games have a mixed reputation with me. They are almost always pretty fun for the basic gameplay, but as a full-priced game, it can vary wildly as to whether they are worth buying or not, for me at least, depending on various factors. To my taste, how much they lean into the Mario aspects and have some crazy power-ups, fun, creative, alternative play modes, etc. And, of course, how much single-player content there is rather than just relying on being fun in multiplayer, which pretty much every sports game that controls properly is fun in multiplayer. That's basically a given. For example, something like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was actually insulting in how bare bones it was when it released, especially at full price. Mario Tennis Aces on Switch 1 was significantly better. Again, it launched with less content than I'd like, but it improved over time, and it was much better than the Wii U title. Now, when this game first started playing in the Direct, I was tentatively interested in it, but I did feel like, why weren't we just getting DLC or an upgraded Switch 2 version of Aces? However, the more the trailer played, the more I got into it, and it showed a lot more variety, a lot more of that zany cartoon arcade wackiness, rather than just being straight tennis only. And then just as I was lamenting how Mario Tennis games used to have a full RPG mode attached, they show what looked like a top-down RPG mode in this game, and suddenly I'm sold. Rewatching the trailer, it does look really nice. I'm not the biggest fan of the baby versions of the Mario characters. I've just never liked the aesthetic much, and it seems weird to have them coexisting alongside the adult versions. But for this RPG mode where it's top-down and the characters are small on the screen, and of course they are learning different skills as they go along, it actually kind of makes sense in a twisted way, and I think it looks pretty neat. Every version of Mario Tennis has some sort of gimmick to the gameplay with varying levels of success to differentiate them from the others. And this one has the Fever Racket mechanic, and that's where the name comes from, Mario Tennis Fever. We don't know much more than what's in the trailer. There's pretty decent roster of 38 characters, although many of them are, multiples, like the baby versions of the existing characters. There's tournaments and trials, which you'd think are a given, but given Drag X Drive launched without them, it's nice to have it confirmed at least. There's online play. You can use motion controls if you're that way inclined, but thank goodness they are optional. Again, we don't know much, but I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm also happy that this is a Switch 2 exclusive game, first party, and we have a release date coming out on the 12th of February 2026, 2 days before Valentine's Day. As we all know, in tennis, love means nothing. For now, I don't have much more to say about the game, but I will say I'm very interested in it. The price is $70, which is not an insta-buy bargain, but I am glad that it's not $80. Here's one weird thing though, the UK eShop is currently showing the digital version of the game as £8 cheaper than the physical version, which if continuing over to the US version would likely make it $10 cheaper for digital. I have long preached that the digital versions of full-priced games should be at least $10 cheaper, but Nintendo has previously stubbornly avoided this and tried to encourage others not to do so. Is this a sign that they're softening their stance here? I truly hope so. Personally, I don't mind paying extra for a physical version, especially if it's actually on the cart and not a key card or a code in a box, but I am 100% for digital-only versions being cheaper for those that only care about playing the games on release date and want to save some cash.
As a game dev myself, I have always felt that it would be exploitative of me to charge the same price for my digital sales when that means that I'm just pocketing the extra money that would usually go to paying for the manufacturing, shipping, stockage and third-party seller fees. This could be a very good sign, but let's not yell about it too much in case otherwise Nintendo might change their mind or say it was a mistake. As for a tier ranking, it's not an S tier, not just yet, but for a fairly substantial first-party release that is Switch 2 exclusive with a fixed release date, I'm going to put this as an A tier. And being that it's actually a new game, I think it should probably be placed before Galaxy 1 and 2, despite how much I do love those games. If they were cheaper, they'd keep the top spot, but that price really is a sore point, to be honest.
Well, that was funny / sad / informative / stupid, wasn't it? Feel free to mentally redact to make that make sense with the clip that you just heard. I don't know what it was. I'm just recording a bumper. But if you enjoyed the clip, please give it a like. If you'd like to hear more, click subscribe, and you can find all the ways to listen to and support the full daily podcast at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Let's go! Did I sound like I mean that? I do. I really do.